This is the DJI Mic 3. Smaller, lighter, stronger, but there's a few big issues and one potential deal breaker. And the more I've used it, the more I've come to realize that this is not a Mic 3 at all. It's something entirely different. Today we'll be listening to some real world examples and talking about the pros and the cons, all to find out if this is the right mic for you. Alright, let me start off by saying that DJI did not sponsor this video. They didn't send me the microphone. I bought this with my own money, and just like all of my other videos, these are all of my honest thoughts about this product. So let's get right into it with an overview of what's new in the Mic 3. For starters, the whole system is smaller than the Mic 2, and the battery life is longer. 28 hours total runtime with the charging case. The wireless range has gone from 250 meters to 400 meters. There's more internal storage and new file management options. You can actually do a dual track recording where you record the original audio and the processed audio. It now has timecode support and can connect 4 transmitters up to 8 receivers. It has adaptive gain control, a wider range of signal bands for less wireless interference, new strong noise cancellation options, and new built-in vocal presets. There's a lot of new packed into this update, and I think most of it is for the better, but there are a few things missing, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. For now, let's hear some real-world examples and put this mic to the test. To kick things off, I figured we'd ride in the car. I feel like this is a very common situation you may find yourself in when creating content. One of the cool things about the Mic 3 is you can actually reposition the way the clip faces, which is going to be handy in this situation. So really, before we get going too far, I actually need to go get some gas. So I'm here pulling up to the gas station right now. Low fuel just kicked on, so this is perfect timing for this. And I figured I would just record this process too to test out the mic some more. I'm actually been talking into the mic in this shot as I was pulling up. So I'm curious to see if the range was able to pick it up in the car at a distance, because that would be kind of an interesting little thing to know. But yeah, just so you guys can see, I'm actually just holding the mic now. Pretty cool. Now, instead of just holding it or using the clip, one of the other cool things you can do with this is actually remove the clip, and you can use a magnet instead, because you can actually mount it to your shirt and just stays really flush like that up against your clothing, so that you can walk around hands-free and still have good audio, which is pretty awesome. And so at this point, what I want to do is actually head to a downtown area where we can walk around, explore, and kind of put this microphone into some different situations out in the wild and just see how it performs, so you guys know what to expect with your own content. All right, we're walking around this downtown area now, and there's some construction happening. There's lots of roadside traffic all around, and figured this would be a good, just kind of real life situation, how this mic sounds. Just wanted to kind of show you guys this cool little alleyway, and there is still a lot of ambient noise around. There's traffic, there's construction, there's some music playing, and this is what the microphone sounds like. There's no noise cancel on right now, none of that good stuff. This is just the raw audio, and this is what it sounds like. What do you guys think of it? Does it sound all right? All right, now we are here next to this busy road, and this is what the raw camera audio sounds like. What I want to show you guys next is how the microphone sounds. So this is a quick little comparison. This is the raw camera audio. And this is a test next to the same road with the microphone now. How is it sounding? Does it sound a little bit better? You guys let me know. No noise cancel right now, but we're about to try that out. And now we have basic noise cancellation on. This is basic noise cancel on. How's it sound? We're about to try the next level up. And now we have strong noise cancellation on. This is that same road, just with the strongest level of noise cancellation. This is what it sounds like. How does it compare? Interested to get it back and hear it all and see what sounds the best. So what I want to actually do right here is show you guys the couple of different vocal presets that are built into the Mic 3. Right now you're hearing the regular setting. So this is just straight out of the box what it sounds like. Now let's go to the next one. Now we are on the rich vocal preset, and this should give a little more oomph to the voice. It should give a little bit more bass, a little bit more low end, and make the voice sound fuller. So depending on your voice and depending on your situation, this could be a cool one to use. Interested to see how it sounds. And now we are on the bright vocal preset. This should add a little bit of treble and kind of high end to the voice a little bit. It should give it a little bit more clarity, help it cut through. So depending on your voice or on your environment, this could be a good tool. I'm interested to see how all of these compare and kind of figure out when and where they might make the most sense. So one thing I've noticed with these types of microphones is you will typically get better results when you hold them just slightly in front of you versus when they're mounted to your chest like this. Now the benefit with doing something like this is you can be hands-free, so there's a convenience there, but typically it will sound a little bit better when it's slightly in front of you. Now there are some other interesting ways you can choose to try to mount these between the magnets and the clips. A common way that you can do it is just clipping it on your hat like this. And this keeps the mic fairly in front of you and you still get to be hands-free, so you have options like that. There's just a lot of ways that you can leverage these things to your advantage, but typically I find right around like this is going to give you one of the best results for just pure quality. And now we are on the Osmo Pocket 3 and we've got the DJI Mic 3 connected via Bluetooth to it. This is how it sounds. We're going to walk around and test this thing out. It is such a nice day outside right now. It's just kind of getting into the fall weather here in the South, which just feels real good. And I'm really excited to be out and about testing this stuff out today rather than being stuck inside. It's one of the reasons I really do enjoy getting to do these types of review videos. All right, so we are in a parking garage right now, still on the Osmo. As you guys can see, it's tracking me around. And I think what I want to do now is also give you guys another quick test of using this thing with the iPhone. So I'm going to switch on over to that. So I'm here now on the iPhone. This is what it sounds like using the receiver going into the phone. And this is really the best seamless kind of DJI way to connect this. You can connect the transmitters using Bluetooth, but it can't be used natively with the iPhone app. There are a few workarounds that I actually have in my full menu walkthrough of this device. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll link it up here at the top and at the end of the video as well. But yeah, this is pretty much how I would probably recommend using this with your phone, just because it is going to give you really the most seamless workflow with the phone. But yeah, this is what it sounds like. Just for comparison, this is what the raw iPhone audio sounds like. So no microphone at all. Just for your guys' reference point, this is the raw iPhone audio, no transmitter. This is what it sounds like. All right, I got to wrap up these downtown tests because I got to head to practice at church tonight where I'm going to be running the lights, but I thought that also might be a good place to attempt to do some noise canceling in a live band scenario. Thought that might be interesting. Let's go check it out. So we're in church right now. This is the raw camera audio. The band is playing. It's super loud. I can barely hear myself. This is what it sounds like. We're going to switch now to the DJI Mic 3. All right, so now you're listening to just the regular mic, no processing, no noise cancellation. This is with the microphone. The band is playing. This is what it sounds like. All right, and now we have noise cancellation basic on. This is with noise cancellation basic. The band is still playing, and this is what it sounds like with noise cancellation basic. And now we have noise cancellation strong. I'm telling you, I can barely hear myself in here talking, so it'll be very interesting to see how this picks it up. We have a live band. We're in church right now, and this is what it sounds like. To me, the biggest pro is the size. I love that it's smaller. I'm always looking for smaller gear. I love that it's more lightweight. When I mount it to my shirt using the magnets, it doesn't pull as much. It's just easy to bring with you. And it's not like the Mic 2 is super big or anything, but any little bit of space saving that I can do to save more gear, pack more stuff in my bag, or just travel lighter, I'm all in. Another thing I really appreciate is being able to pack the wind muffs and the cable inside of the case altogether. The Mic 2 always got a pretty big critique for being a little muffled sounding. For me, it was never a big deal because I would take time to EQ it and really get it sounding good. It was very flexible in that way. but it is nice to have just a better starting point. I like the right off the bat tone of this mic better, and that it has the vocal preset options. Now, this next thing may not seem like a very big deal, but to me it's actually a very big convenience, and it has to do with the Sony Mi shoe adapter. In the Mic 2, you're basically stuck having the receiver facing behind the camera. So when you're going to film yourself, you can't see it, which just kind of sucks. But with this new version, the new adapter, it takes USB-C and you can face it either way. I will say it's one of those things where it's a trade-off, whereas I kind of felt like the Mic 2 adapter was maybe a little more secure feeling, but I will take the convenience of being able to flip it either direction in the new design. So that's a lot of my own favorite pros and updates of the new unit, but let's talk about some cons because there's some big ones. For me, the biggest con is that there is no lav input. This is such a bummer because on the Mic 1 and the Mic 2, there was lav inputs. Having the Mic 2 and having that microphone input meant you could also plug in like bigger shotgun microphones and turn them into 32-bit float recorders. And so it was really versatile, especially for a more professional workflow where, you know, as small as these things are, they're great, but they're not as small as a lav. They're not as easy to hide as a lav. And so there's some situations and settings where you may want to do that. And on this newer system with all of these updates, this is a downgrade. It's taken away. Now, I do love the new quadraphonic mode. I think it's very cool that you can connect 4 mics. I love having that option. I don't know how often I'll really use it because at the end of the day, if I was doing a podcast style thing like that, I'd probably just use the internal 32-bit float recordings and then sync it all up later. But in a pinch, it is nice to be able to do that. However, the major con with this, and it's something that I think they really missed, was the ability to use the Mic 2 or the Mic 1 or the Mic Mini as microphones. Because a lot of us, if we're upgrading, we already have those mics and it would have given us new life to those things. Hopefully they'll consider doing that in a firmware update in the future. I wouldn't count on it, but that would be cool if they could do that. But as it is right now, at the time of this recording, you can only do that with the Mic 3s. And it's kind of a weird decision because the charging case will only fit 2 transmitters. Maybe eventually they'll come up with like a 4-pack charging case or something. I think that would be cool. And I think it's something a lot of people would invest in if it was something they were using a lot, because otherwise you're just going to pack this in your bag and have 2 transmitters floating around or something. So nothing about this unit feels as secure as the previous units. They all feel like I could lose these pieces at any time. I know that's more of a me thing, but I just don't feel as confident in the overall. It's not really the build quality. I think the build quality is good. It's just the way it's designed with all the little pieces. It just feels, I don't know, not as secure to me. And I also do still wish that there was an easier way to get the transmitter to talk to the native camera app in the phone. I think a lot of people buy this expecting that they can do that, and I'm sure it's probably more of an Apple-sided thing, but it would be cool to just have an easier integration with that where you don't have to plug in the receiver to the phone, because that makes everything quite a bit bigger. It makes it have more pieces, more points of failure. And so just being able to connect the transmitter via Bluetooth to the phone and have it work with the native camera app would be a major win. There are some workarounds, and if you're interested in learning about those workarounds, I have a full menu walkthrough that I'll link at the end of the video and in the description where you can see that, but there are workarounds, right? And it would be nice to just have it be more seamless. So at the beginning of this video, you heard me make the claim that this is not a DJI Mic 3. That it's something else entirely. And to me, what I feel like this thing is, what I feel like it should have been called, is a Mic Mini 2. It's basically the Mic Mini with internal recording, which is like, for me, the biggest thing it was lacking. So now this is essentially the same size, and it has internal recording, and it has a lot of nice new updates as well, but it doesn't have the lav input, which to me instantly rules out as an option a lot of pros. The Mic Mini was greatly positioned to be really strong option for content creators. And to me, this feels like it's totally a great option for content creators. To me, it's like the pro version for content creators, but it doesn't step into that professional filmmaker, video freelancer use case. So it's kind of an oddly positioned microphone now. And I think it would have done a lot stronger and a lot better. And I would have felt like I could recommend it a lot easier if it had the lav mics. So it is sort of a weird use case. It's like if you're a content creator and you don't have any use for lavs, you know you don't want that at all, or don't want to have the option for it, this is a fantastic microphone. You're going to love this thing. But if you are a content creator and you also want to do some freelance work, or you just want to have the option to use your mic in different ways, this is a little bit more limiting, even though it does have all these nice new bells and whistles. And so it's a tough decision. Whereas, and let me be clear, the mic 2 is still fantastic. It's also still very small. It still has a ton of great features itself. So, I think that they could have waited to maybe, figure out how to get a lav into something like this and make it the mic 3, where it still felt like that pro line. But who knows what they'll do next? Maybe they'll come out with something like a DJI Mic Pro. We'll see. All of that said, I want to take a second to encourage you guys. You don't need the Mic 3. You don't need the latest and greatest to make good content. You can start with what you have, even if you don't have a microphone like this at all. Lean into growing your skills, making the content with what you have, learning your messaging, learning your audience, learning what it is that you want to say to the world. The gear will come over time. Now, if you want to see a more comprehensive deep dive of every single menu item in this microphone, I actually created that video and you can watch it right here. I've placed links down in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay creative. Peace.